Shane Goodwin here, and Clay Sprouse.
Good morning. They put me first on the agenda to adjust the microphone, make sure it could go high enough. I have been here a year in Greenwood already, and it's hard to believe. I look at this audience, and many of you I have met, and some of you I have not. And my goal is to always get a chance to know each one of you. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to stand before you, grateful for the opportunity to serve you. And I came to this community with 4 things in mind, and those things won't change. They are listen, learn, lead or lift, and then lead and lift. And if I get those things right, the lift is at the end because we all rise. If we listen to one another, determine the things we need to do to make this community a better place, not only for big people, but little people too, and then make sure we support one another. And I love the fan that you have. The first sentence I saw on the fan, and I hope that she is well and feels better, says, "For the people." That's me. We should all have that motto. We should all be for the people. You are my people, and I'm excited to serve you. It has been an amazing year. We have made incredible strides before I ever arrived in Greenwood 50. And I would like to also say since our kindergarten through 8th grade students have far surpassed the state average in academic achievement and excellence. We have fantastic arts programs. Our athletics continues to grow and be strong. Our high school students, I think Emerald is slated to have, I hope when we look at those numbers here soon, the highest graduation rate they have seen. And so we continue to push hard for all children, whether they're beginning school or whether they're completing school, to make sure that they're all employed, enlisted, that they or are enrolled in college, or that they become entrepreneurs. We want to make sure that all of our children live into the dreams they have for themselves, but also the ones we have for them as well. So it's my job and my privilege to spend time with you. I on purpose left my home early this morning with my wife, Christy. I am married. This is our 35th anniversary, so I've been married. I am much younger than I look. I just want to make sure I say that. I've been married 35 years to a wonderful woman, Christy, who happens to be in ministry. She is the pastor and starts actually tomorrow at St. Paul United Methodist Church in Saluda, South Carolina. We moved here from Front Royal, Virginia, where she was the senior pastor at the Front Royal First Baptist Church. And for those of you that go to a church with a first lady, I was the first man. So I just want you to know that's what I was called in my community, and I appreciated that role. I have 2 children who are grown. Had our first granddaughter 2 weeks ago. My daughter and her husband are public defenders right outside of Philadelphia. They had our first granddaughter, Adeline, 2 weeks ago, and I'm so excited about that. I have a son who works for the Department of Social Services as a benefits coordinator, and he has a significant other, and they live right outside of Virginia Beach in Virginia, not far from where we moved here from. Started my career as a kindergarten teacher, and that was in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Was a 4th grade teacher, assistant principal, and then middle and elementary school principal there. Moved to Virginia for 7 years and took on additional leadership roles. And I was so fortunate to be interviewed by the school board here, which is full of amazing people who love this community. And I was so struck by not only the way they love the community and they love the children and the staff that are here, but behind the scenes, I hope it's okay for me to say, they actually love and care about each other. And I think that's a special thing when you see that happen with a group of 9 people. So I'm lucky to call myself number 10 on that team. But I am up here not because I am important. I am up here because I get a chance to introduce someone who is. So Chairman Clay Sprouse is standing right here to my right. Mr. Sprouse is our school board chair. It's been my privilege to work for the school board, and I think the 2 of us probably work more closely than many would just in his role. And I am grateful for him and for the other 8 people who gave me this opportunity. And together, we're grateful for you. So I look forward to being a part of today, answering questions. We have some exciting things coming up and something else that's going to actually be on the ballot. So I know that Mr. Sprouse is going to cover those topics, and I'm going to be his sidekick if he wants me to and allows me to. So I'll stand off to the side and welcome him. Chairman Sprouse, thank you.
Adjust the mic, right? You can tell there's a slight difference. Good morning. Adjust the camera? Yeah, that might have to do that too. Shane said something that was a little untrue, and that's not that I'm necessarily the important person. The kids that I work for are the most important. I have been very fortunate to be in this role on the school board for 8 years, and I've been the chair for the past 2. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for inviting us today. Today is going to be kind of a information session. What I'm going to talk to you about today, and I'm going to be as clear and transparent as I possibly can. I cannot advocate for what I'm going to talk to you about today. I can only educate. Okay? You have to make the decision for yourself, and I cannot push you in one way or another. So if I start getting off track, hopefully Shane will say, hey, cut that out. Okay? But what Shane did mention was that there is going to be something else on your ballot during the general election. You may have read about it in the paper, although data centers seem to be getting more of the press these days. So our little objective is actually kind of flying under the radar, but it is extremely important for the future of Greenwood School District 50 and for our community. And so I wanted to make sure that I took a few moments this morning to share with you what you're going to see on the ballot. Okay? So what is it that I'm talking about in general? In general, what we are asking is for permission. We're not asking for more tax dollars. We're not asking for more of your money. We're just asking for permission to borrow money. And in this case, we're asking to borrow $175 million. Now, what is that for? There are multiple projects on this referendum, on this proposed referendum, but there's some that rise to the top that have heavier price tags. We get to go to a school board conference every February. You would not believe, well, maybe you would now, but you would not believe how much it costs to build a new school. So elementary schools in general, just elementary schools, generally cost around $45 to $50 million to build one new school. Okay? So where are we at with this? Well, a couple of years ago, and this was prior to Shane's arrival, we did a facility study. We wanted to make sure that we understood how our facilities were doing, where we were going, what were we going to need. We were trying to do some short-term and long-term planning. So with this particular referendum, what we're asking for, here are a couple of the major highlights. Number one is that we would like to consolidate Pinecrest and Lakeview elementaries. Those aren't that far apart, and those are not heavy populated schools. And we would like to combine those schools into a new 2-story elementary school. And that way we can kind of save some money as far as our taxpayers are concerned. We kind of want to, we think that would actually be more efficient and effective. With that being said, the second project would be to rebuild Benjamin E. Mays Elementary. Now, let me speak on that for a couple of seconds. First of all, Benjamin E. Mays, or formerly Springfield Elementary, as it stands now, I believe was built in 1992, 1993, somewhere in that area. And I remember it well because I was in junior high school and everybody was up in arms in the community because it was named Springfield because of The Simpsons. And so people were really upset about that at the time. As a kid, I thought it was great. But anyway, as you all know, we renamed it to honor Dr. Mays a few years back. And the problem is that school was really poorly built. It just was not well done. In addition, it has heating and cooling issues. It's kind of, I don't know that it's really important to get into the minutia of that, but it's an old, outdated system. Also, too, I think you call it Maze Elementary, spelling it M-A-Z-E, because it's a maze. It's literally a maze inside. And and the good news about Maze is we have enough land there where we can rebuild it on site while school is going on. The other thing is now that we have renamed it after Dr. Benjamin Mays, we can build a new school that kind of reflects more of what Dr. Mays really meant. And so I think that is something that we can do. We can kind of reimagine and revisit that school and really pay tribute to Dr. Mays. So those are the two big ones, right? And then we're talking about doing a couple of major renovation projects. And that would be, number one, Rice Elementary, which is formerly Oakland Elementary. Rice Elementary has been around, I want to say, since the late 70s. I'm not 100% sure on that. It needs some safety upgrades for the kids. It's built in the old model. And also, too, we believe that there are still some open wounds from Oakland Elementary. And Shane and I had the pleasure of meeting a couple of new folks that are newer to our community. Oakland Elementary, which is now Rice Elementary, back in 1988, was one of the first school shootings in the United States. And we lost a couple of students in that incident. And we believe that, first of all, we tear down that cafeteria where that horror happened. Get that gone. And but still keep a spirit of a place that is going to it's going to meet the needs of the survivors who are behind. And we did that with the garden this past year. We actually last year we went out and rebuilt the garden, and it's beautiful. And so that needs some renovations. And also Hodges Elementary up in Hodges, our little school in the woods. It was actually built in 1955 or 1956, but and y'all will probably believe this, Hodges Elementary is probably in the best shape of a lot of our elementary schools. Hodges is, I guess in the 50s, they just knew what they were doing when they built things. But it does need some renovations. It's still on a smaller scale. And also, too, the town of Hodges has talked about the need for a more public space. And so we're thinking that there is an opportunity there to kind of create more community partnerships in Hodges. In addition, Hodges also, I want to say Hodges Elementary is on a septic tank system, and it is outdated for a school that has 400 kids and a few dozen employees. And so we kind of want to work through those things as well. And so that's kind of where we're going with the referendum. If you all remember in the mid-2000s, and I give Dr. Johnson a lot of credit, because now that I've been sitting in this seat for a long time, I don't see how they did it the way they did it. But they built a lot of new schools in the mid-2000s. This is kind of finishing it. This is kind of finishing the job. And so that's what we're trying to do with this particular referendum. Now, with that being said, there are other things that we wanted to address with the referendum. The $175 million that we're requesting to borrow is actually, that's what we're requesting our limit to be. We're hoping to keep the price tag around 160, and that we don't have to borrow the whole thing. We also want to do a couple of other things. There are transportation and safety needs that need to be upgraded as well. If you'll notice, at a lot of our elementary schools, our playgrounds are run down. We want to rebuild all of those. We want to give enhancements to our visual arts programs. Our bands, their instruments are old, outdated, not even hardly usable anymore. Those types of things, some improvements to the Performing Arts Center. And then also, too, I think I would be remiss if I didn't mention this. We also want to either construct or renovate a current space. It just kind of depends on how it works out. We want to either construct or renovate a new space for the district office. And, excuse me, the reason that's important is right now you have the district office on Calhoun Road, and there you have your administrative services, you have your human resources, you have your payroll, you have those types of things. But then if you go to the old Northside Middle School, which is what we call Genesis, that's where we have our school board room, that's where we have our nursing services, our cafeteria services, where we have our special ed services, where we have our adult ed services. Then if you go to the old Matthews Elementary School, which everyone knows about the old Matthews Elementary School, that's where our maintenance department is. We need to consolidate this. We need to bring all this into one space, and we need it to be more centrally located so that we can provide better customer service to our stakeholders. I believe that if we put everything in a central location and that we bring everyone together, then we can serve our community better. And so that's an important piece of this project as well. And finally, in addition, there would be some athletic upgrades as well. I know that's sometimes a sticky subject, but it's not a major contribution to athletics when you're looking at the grand scope of $160 million. It's a small percentage of it, but like both of our football fields, those turfs are done. And then when was that major rain we had? We had a major rain probably 3 months ago. There was a really big rain that came through. I don't know if y'all remember this or not. And I'm not talking about Helene, I'm talking about this year. Almost all of Emerald's football field was underwater. And what it ended up doing was causing major damage. And so some water routes need to be created in order to make sure that that doesn't happen again. But also to softball fields and baseball fields, we pay a lot of money each year to keep those fields cut, to keep them graded, to maintain the grass, all those types of things. If we turf the baseball fields and softball fields, we actually eliminate some of those costs in the long run. And also, too, there is a thing, y'all may have heard this term before, called sports tourism. And we believe that sports tourism actually, we could bring in like baseball tournaments, softball tournaments, and those types of things. As Mr. Goodwin has said when he goes around, we are all about these days creating more and more community partnerships. And so that's what we want to do. And so everything that you will see listed on this referendum is with that in mind, that we are enhancing our community, but most importantly, we're enhancing opportunities for our kids. A couple of quick notes, and then really I think what we'll do is we'll open up the floor for questions. A couple of quick notes. On your tax bill, you have your millage, and then you have your bond millage. Am I saying that correctly? You have your bond millage. Your bond millage right now sits at roughly 58 mils, something like that. And what the bond millage does is it's basically saying what is our capacity to borrow. The good news is we are well within that window. So that millage, with this passing this referendum, that millage will not increase. So there would be no tax increase with this. And again, like I said when I started off this conversation, all we're asking for at this point is for your permission to borrow this money. That's it. That's the bottom line. And so what I would encourage you to do is do a little bit more research. There's been plenty of Index Journal articles. All of our meetings are live streamed. You can go back and see our meetings. We've had committee meetings surrounding this as well. And so there's plenty of information out there. Of course, Shane's door is always open. My door is always open. I'm always willing to talk about this. And again, I appreciate Tori reaching out to me and inviting me to come here and talk about this today, because I truly, truly believe this is important. This is a re-election year for me. If I get re-elected, that's amazing. And I will be happy to serve another 4 years. If somebody comes along and they decide they want to run against me and they somehow win, good for them. And I hope that they continue the good work. But this really is really important. I believe this is really, truly important. This referendum is truly important for the future of for our kids. But I want you to make that decision. I want you to make that decision whether it is worth it or not. So with that being said, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Shane may jump in on some of them as well. So again, thank y'all for having us.